Hello, kings and queens. Welcome again to my channel. I thank each and every single one of you for tuning in. For all those who are new subscribers, thank you so much. And for all of the returning subscribers, it's always great to have you. My heart has just been so heavy for a while now, but today, as I was driving home, I saw this man walk across the street, and I could tell, as a matter of fact, he was kind of standing in the streets, but looking at him, I could tell that he had a mental disorder. I could tell that the octopus spirit was up on him, and this grieved my spirit in such a way that I began to cry literal tears. I'm literally crying and driving at the same time. Why am I coming on here and telling you these things? Why am I telling you this, Queen? Why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you this right now? I'm telling you this because we never know what these men are battling with. You know, some of us know and others just don't. So many of us, and right now, even though this video, men and women, the kings and the queens, the sons and daughters of Yahuwah will come across this video, but I am speaking to the queens right now, and I just want to say, don't get so caught up in the promise of marriage, and when it's not coming through in the way you want it to come through, in the timing that you want it to come through, your kingdom spouse, the person that Yahuwah has promised you, is acting out. For those of you who actually know who your kingdom spouse is, they're acting out, and you get an attitude. You want to talk crazy to them or about them, and this is not even just for the women who, again, know who their spouses are. This is not just for those. This is also for the women who don't know. This is for women who have the promise, those who have not been promised. Like, we have to start speaking life into these men's lives. A prodigal is not just your husband that Abba has promised you. A prodigal can be your son, your nephew, your dad, your uncle, your grandpa, that guy at your job that gets on your nerves because every time you turn around, he flirting with you and all that, and you keep letting him know that you're not with it. That person that you're always running into, they got a real fly slick mouth, very disrespectful towards women, just whatever it may be, like, because of who they are, they are getting attacked in such a heavy way. As a child of Yahuwah, it's off top, we're going to be attacked. And depending on your mantle, the level that you are on concerning your kingdom assignment, the attacks can be even worse. Now, think about this, sis. Think about this, queen. Think about the levels of attacks that you have experienced in your lifetime, period, thus far. Think about it, right? Now, on the flip side, I want you to think about your husband, your kingdom spouse. I want you to think about your nephew. I want you to think about your son. I want you to think about your dad. I want you to think about your grandpa, your uncle, your whoever, who is a true son of Yah, but they're in darkness right now. So I want you to think about them, and I want you to think about the fact that they were first. Man was first to be created. And then even though Eve bit that apple, right? She was the one that was deceived. But let's not get it twisted. Eve was not the target. Thank you, Ruach HaKodesh. She was not the target. She was collateral damage. Satan was coming for the man. Satan was coming for Adam. Satan is coming for the Adam that is in your life. Don't let that drug addiction, the alcoholism that you see that they knee deep in, the lust, the cheating, the abuse, whatever it is, and forgive me, like, and what's been coming in my mind and my spirit is righteous anger. This is righteous anger, truly, because I'm so sick and tired. I am so sick and tired of seeing y'all sons like this. I am tired of seeing them being strung out on drugs. I am sick and tired of them being confused of their identity, of their sexuality. I am sick and tired of them being out here and being the man of 3 and 4 households, and really not even being the man, but being the gigolo or whatever of multiple households and things like that. I mean, I am tired of them being beneath. I'm tired of them being last. I'm tired of them being the tail. When that's not what Abba said. He was first. He was first. It is time. It is time for us to I was going to say it's time to fix our speech. And it is, but it's time for us to fix our heart posture. It's time for us to ask Abba to adjust our perception, how we're perceiving them, how we're perceiving their situations. We already know that if the enemy takes the head, the body falls. The body falls. So that's why I say Eve was not the target. He was the target. The head is always the target. Because if he can get that head, if he can get that man, if he can get that son of yours to be thrown off of his path, if he can keep your dad, if he can keep your man, if he can keep your uncle, if he can keep that man, whoever it is, in a position of being the tail, of being strung out on drugs, of being confused, not knowing who he is, not knowing his true identity, his calling, not having a relationship with Yeshua HaMashiach. If he can do that, he's going to do it. And guess what? He can. He's been doing it. The problem is that we have written off too many of Yahuwah's sons. We have written off too many of the prodigals. We have been thinking that all this time, because we read the story in Matthew, is it Matthew or Luke, about the prodigal son in Luke. Thank you, Ruach HaKodesh. We read the story about the prodigal son, prodigal being attached to son, son being attached to prodigal, and we only think prodigal as my husband. Right? Some of us think about a prodigal as our sons, whatever. But for the most part, people just think about, oh, my husband, he's a prodigal. You see all these prophetic videos on YouTube and all that stuff, and the word prodigal is usually attached to the man as being the husband, though, but not just man like my brother, my uncle, my grandpa, son, whatever. We have been called for such a time as this. He created woman, a helpmate, to be a helpmate to the man, because he said it is not good for man to be alone. And notice in the scripture, it never said that man should not be alone. I must make him a wife. It said man should not be alone. He needs a helpmate. I will make him a helpmate. And I'm just paraphrasing. But it never said, I will make him a wife. Even though, yes, he has his people that he is called to be together in kingdom marriages. Absolutely. But a lot of these men out here, they don't have anybody fighting for them. They don't have anybody standing for them. And it's so sad. It's so sad. I'm so tired of seeing women talk down to these men. And believe me, I get it. Believe me, I get it. Whenever you're upset, I get it. Because I've I've experienced the pain and the tears from the things that was said to me. Whether it's a family member or not a family member that is a male that is in my life, I understand. But spiritual intelligence, thank you, Ruach HaKodesh. Spiritual intelligence is so important. If you do not have spiritual intelligence, you will not be able to understand that you are not fighting against flesh and blood. Ephesians 6. If you do not have spiritual intelligence, you will be fighting against that man. A lot of us have been for so long fighting against the man and not the spirit that's in him. So it's a lot of these men that really could have had a deliverance. Thank you, Ruach HaKodesh. Could have had a deliverance. But instead of these people who Abba has put in their path, instead of them coming and seeking him, seeking his face with their whole heart, concerning their son, concerning their dad, concerning their uncle, concerning whoever that man is in their life, that husband that he's promised to you. Or maybe it's your husband, and maybe y'all have divorced and Abba's calling y'all to come back together. But he's still acting real shady out here. Maybe that's your situation. But whatever that situation is, it is time for us to get in alignment with our Abba. It is time for us to get in alignment with him. And we need to make sure that we are praying according to his will. We need to make sure that we are interceding for these men. Because again, the enemy is after the head. But another thing, don't get it twisted, because see, it's a lot of misconception, a lot of ignorance when it comes to Satan, because it seems like he thinks that we real weak as women, and absolutely not. First of all, Abba doesn't make anything this week. But Abba seeing in the garden that, you know what, it's not good for man to be alone. I need to make him a helpmate. He knew that it was going to be times that though he has called these men to stand on the front line and for us to fall back and be behind them, a lot of us as women have had to be in the foreground, have had to be on the front lines, and the men were way back in the back of the back somewhere. And we have taken hits. We have taken hit after hit after hit, blow after blow. And we tired. I'm tired. And if you can't admit that you're tired, I'll admit it for you. I'm tired. Because I've been standing, and I've been praying, and I've been fasting, and I've been crying, and I've been going through the suffering and the tears, and I've been getting up, and I've been picking up my cross and things like that. But I'm tired. And there's nothing wrong with being tired of being in this position, though. I'm tired of being in this position to where I am in the front. In the name of Yeshua, I'm just so. I am tired of being on the front line. We were not meant to be on the front line. But at the same time, Abba knew that it would be a time that we would have to be. That we would have to be. And though we're on that front line, though, he has kept us. We have received blow after blow. We have been hard pressed on every side, but yet not crushed. Not crushed. Are you tired? I'm asking you, are you really tired of being on the front line? Are you really tired of being in that position, that place where the man is actually supposed to be at, being the head? Are you tired? Because if you're really tired, it is time to get out of your feelings. It's time to get out of your flesh. And it is time to get in our Father's Spirit. Allow Him to be in us and to operate fully when it comes to these men. And is it hard to bite your tongue whenever they just yip yapping, they being disrespectful and things like that? Absolutely. There are times whenever I was in that situation and I had to do this. Oh, okay. Okay. And that's it. Because you're not finna get a reaction out of me, Satan. You're not finna have me fighting against my son. You're not finna have me fighting against a man, the husband that Abba has promised me. You're not finna have me fighting against my dad, against my uncle, against that man who I don't even know him, but I know that he's a son of Yahuwah. You're not finna have me dragging him down. You're not finna use me. That's what you're not finna do. Because, see, you've been doing it for years. You're not finna continue to use me as a vessel to drag my husband down. You're not finna use me as a vessel to drag my son down to the pits of hell. You got me messed up. I'm tired of it. A lot of us are wondering why haven't this marriage promise came to pass? Why hasn't my son received the healing from that schizophrenia, from that multiple personality disorder, from these demons that I know are working within him? Why hasn't my dad received that deliverance from that alcoholism? My mom won't leave my dad. They've been together for years and he's been beating on her for years. But she won't leave. She keep talking about that her God, that our God, that Yahuwah, that he's coming through. Oh, don't worry about it, baby. God knows what he's doing. Why haven't they received these deliverances yet? That is their portion. It is their portion. Why haven't they? Why haven't they? A lot of it has to do with what we are doing as the helpmates, as the Esthers of this generation, of this time. Stand up, Esther. Stand up. Get up. Quit letting that devil use you against your husband. Quit letting that devil use you against your son, against your dad, against that man, whoever it is. Stop letting him use you as a vessel to drag that man down. When Abba said there is a mandate on this man's life, there is a mandate on my son's life, and it must come to pass. I have called you, Esther, for such a time as this, to get up and go before the king. I have called you for such a time as this to call a great fast amongst your other sisters in Christ. Gather, come together and fast and pray. Seek my face with your whole heart, because I will deliver. I am the one who delivers. I need you to have that Esther mentality. And if you ain't read Esther, please go and read it. But I need you to have that Esther mentality that says, hey, send word out to the people. Tell them to go on a 3-day fast. Do not eat or drink anything. Because, see, I'm getting ready to go before the king. The king did not send for me, but I'm still going to go. And if I perish, then I perish. But I will not continue to stand here and see my people oppressed, depressed, suppressed by Satan any longer. Because, see, Abba also told Esther And even though he wasn't even mentioned in that book, Esther needed to come to her rightful place. Now, if she didn't, it's cool. Because I was like, I can raise up somebody else. I mean, he did it when it came to Saul and David. Saul got really beside himself. And so what he do? He raised up somebody that was even better, a man after his own heart. That man looking real shady, but I promise you, pray for him. Stand for him. Stand for your husband. Stand for that man that God is calling you to stand for. Stand for your son. Stand for your uncle, for that family member, whoever it is. Stand for them. Because even though they live in a shady life now, even though some of them have even renounced our Father and said that he doesn't exist. They angry, they mad, whatever. Guess what? If you pray, understand, you have power and authority. You are powerful. You are powerful. And I don't think you truly understand that the demons will bow to you. They keep threatening you. They keep coming up against you. They keep coming with all these blows and stuff like that. Hitting you one time after another, then 5 times and 6 times. Every time you turn around, you get hit, right? But the more you get hit, the stronger that you're getting. And I don't know if any of y'all remember that game. I think it was Street Fighter, but it was one of them on there. It was either Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. Either way, whenever they would hit one of those, it's a man on there. Every time they hit him, he would glow up until like the energy, like it was giving him power. The more he was taking him hits, and then finally, whenever he glowed all the way up, when I say he let loose on them. He will let loose on them. It's time for you to let loose on Satan. Because see, he sees the strength in you, but you don't see it. Abba told Esther, it's cool. Either you're going to do it or you're not. But I promise you this. I can raise up somebody else, but I'm telling you, concerning your people, they will perish. If you don't get up right now, sister, queen, if you don't get up right now, help will arise. Glory, hallelujah to you, Abba. Help will arise from somewhere else. It will. Help will come. But you and your people, you and your son, you and your dad, you and your uncle, you and that man that Yahuwah has you standing for concerning marriage or whatever, y'all will perish. Y'all will perish. I don't know about you. And it ain't even just the whole you and your people, y'all will perish thing. No. I just don't want Abba to raise up somebody else. Like, that's a real blow to the gut for me. Clean me up. Like, I don't be moving right all the time, Abba. Clean me up, because see, I don't want you to have to raise somebody else up. It is an honor. It's a privilege to be chosen by him. Now, these attacks, he could have kept that. But it's a privilege to be chosen. Those who die with Christ will reign with Christ. It's time. It's time. Get up. Get up. You are needed. You are valuable. The power that you have within your womb, your spiritual womb, the power that is just throbbing, beating, and filled to the rim and even overflowing, just ready for you to open your, and it's just so simple as you opening your mouth. It's as simple as you opening your mouth and speaking a thing. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. What are you saying? What are you saying? Is what it is that you're saying bringing these men closer to the heart of our Father? Is it strengthening them? Is it building them up? What are you saying? What are you saying? If it's not edifying them in a loving way, in a way that's going to bring them closer to Yeshua, you saying the wrong things. You saying the wrong things. You're moving in the wrong way. And even when they don't want to hear it, it's not like you got to be all up in their face talking about Abba this, Abba that, God this, Yahuwah, and all of it. It's not like you even got to do that. It's something powerful, not only about your words, life and death being in the power of the tongue, but it's also so much power in getting in that secret place with Yahuwah, with his son, with his Ruach HaKodesh. There's so much power in that. Getting in that secret place and being still. It's so much, it's so much power in your tears, in your voice, the way that you cry out. And even if whenever you open up your mouth, the only thing that comes out is a whimper, guess what? There's power in it. He will not allow one tear to fall to the ground. He collects them all. Cast our cares up on him because he cares. He cares for us. I know you tired. I know your feelings have been hurt. I know it seems like every time you turn around, it's one thing after another. The enemy is attacking this area of your life and that area of your life. You're already a single mother. You're already going through that divorce. You're already going through these achings and things like that in your body. You're already going through a situation to where your bills are so stacked up and you don't know what you're going to do. You're needing help in that way. And then on top of that, Abba has called you to be a gatekeeper, to stand in the gap for other people, for these other men around you who seem to be knee deep and some up to their necks in sin and darkness and brokenness, because really that's all it is. They're broken. Who is standing for you? Because you standing for the whole household, and many of you are the first generation of a true gatekeeper who has come and actually stood in the gap and refuses to turn away. You have a lot on your plate, and then on top of that, for some of you, you're having to deal with that person one-on-one because they're in your household. Whatever it is, go to the secret place. Go to the secret place. And if you can do nothing else but open up your mouth and let out a whimper, if all you can do is just go in there and sit and let the tears roll down your face, do it. Do it. He is the creator of our hearts, so he hears our heart. Our heart speaks for us when our mouth cannot. He hears your heart. Your heart will speak for you. Your spirit will speak to Abba. He knows your pain. He knows that we are tired as his daughters. of being on this front line. We're tired. Who is standing for us? Who is fasting for us? Who is standing in the gap for us? It's so much. And now we are ready for these men to step up, right? So that they can be the head. And we can be the helpmate. We can be that back for them. We can be that side for them. We can be that neck for them. Whatever it is that they need us to be, right? You want a prayer partner. You want somebody that can pray over you. Somebody that's going to fast for you. You want somebody that's going to be able to take these hits for you, just like you taking for others, right? I understand. I totally understand. But guess what? You got somebody doing all that for you. And just in case you don't know, his name is Yahuwah. His name is Yeshua HaMashiach. You have the Ruach HaKodesh. You have his Holy Spirit. We want a physical thing, but let's appreciate the spiritual man that we have, our Abba. Get up. Get up, Esther. Get up, Esther. It's your time. It's your time. So I love each and every single one of you. Remember, you have power. You are power, and you are a powerhouse. Go out and light up the world and everything that is in your path. I love you. Stay prayed up. Stand in the gap. You are needed. You have power.